A construction worker in Australia gets his nickname from a coworker who simply can't pronounce his real name. Decades later, that same man has broken nearly every bone in his body performing his own movie stunts, built one of the most successful action comedy careers in film history, and become the accidental successor to a legend who died just as his own career was beginning. This is the story of Jackie Chan. He was born Chan Kong-sang on April 7, 1954, in Hong Kong, into a family living in genuine poverty. When he's just 7 years old, his parents moved to Australia in search of better work, leaving young Chan behind in Hong Kong, enrolled at a boarding school called the China Drama Academy, part of the Chinese Opera Research Institute. For the next 10 years, he undergoes an extraordinarily rigorous training regimen, martial arts, acrobatics, drama, and singing, all under a strict discipline that includes corporal punishment for anything less than good performance. He appears in his first film at just 8 years old, Big and Little Wong Tin Bar, in 1962, and goes on to appear in several additional musical films throughout his childhood, though genuine stardom remains far off at this stage. In 1971, he briefly rejoins his parents in Australia, taking construction work to get by, and it's here on a job site that a coworker named Jack, unable to pronounce his Chinese name, starts calling him Little Jack, which eventually simplifies into Jackie, a nickname that sticks with him for the rest of his life and career. He doesn't stay in Australia long, though, returning to Hong Kong to chase film work again. His entry into the film industry proper comes through stunt work, and in a detail that connects directly to one of the most legendary figures in martial arts cinema. Young Chan works as an acrobat and stuntman on films starring Bruce Lee, including Fist of Fury and Enter the Dragon, quite literally training and working in the shadow of the man whose death in 1973 leaves an enormous vacancy at the top of the martial arts film world. Many in the industry hope Chan might be the one to fill it. In 1976, he stars in New Fist of Fury, a film explicitly modeled on Bruce Lee's established style, and it fails to connect, precisely because Chan simply isn't Bruce Lee, and audiences can tell the difference between an imitation and the real thing. The genuine turning point of his entire career comes when Chan stops trying to replicate Lee's intense, serious fighting style, and instead develops something entirely his own. A blend of martial arts and screwball physical comedy, treating fight choreography almost like elaborate slapstick set pieces rather than pure combat. Snake in the Eagle's Shadow, released in 1978, becomes his first major hit and essentially establishes the entire kung fu comedy genre as a viable, hugely popular style of filmmaking. He follows it immediately with Drunken Master later that same year, another massive hit across Hong Kong, cementing his new comedic action persona as something audiences genuinely can't get enough of. Through the following years, films including The Fearless Hyena, Half a Loaf of Kung Fu, and The Young Master solidify his position as the most popular martial arts star across Asia, and his Police Story franchise becomes one of the defining action series of his entire career, renowned specifically for its elaborate, genuinely dangerous practical stunts. His first attempt at cracking Hollywood, through 1980s films like The Cannonball Run, doesn't generate the same level of success, forcing him to retreat back to Hong Kong and refocus primarily on the Asian market, rather than push immediately for American crossover stardom. His real American breakthrough finally arrives with 1996's Rumble in the Bronx, a genuine box office hit that finally introduces mainstream American audiences to what Hong Kong cinema had already known for nearly 2 decades. In 1995, he'd already received a Lifetime Achievement Award at the MTV Movie Awards, a recognition that helps further build his profile heading into that eventual Hollywood success. What follows is the Rush Hour franchise alongside Chris Tucker, transforming Chan into one of the biggest action comedy stars in the entire world, along with further hits including Shanghai Noon, The Tuxedo, Shanghai Nights, and 2010's The Karate Kid reboot alongside Jaden Smith. One of the defining, almost legendary characteristics of his entire career is his insistence on performing nearly all of his own stunts, regardless of the physical risk involved. A commitment that's left him with a genuinely staggering list of injuries accumulated over decades, including broken bones across nearly every part of his body. Rather than hide these injuries, Chan has famously included outtake reels at the end of many of his films specifically showing the stunts going wrong, turning his own physical suffering into a signature, oddly endearing piece of his brand. His personal life includes his 1982 marriage to Lin Fengjiao, known professionally as Joan Lin, a Taiwanese actress. Their son, J.C. Chan, has pursued his own career as an actor and singer, though he's also faced serious legal trouble, including a drug-related arrest in China. Chan has also publicly acknowledged an extramarital relationship with actress Elaine Ng, which produced a daughter, Etta Ng. Though Jackie Chan's relationship with Etta has been publicly strained and distant for years, with Etta speaking openly about the estrangement and even experiencing periods of homelessness, a genuinely difficult and painful chapter that stands in sharp contrast to his beloved, family-friendly public image. Beyond acting, Chan has built out a substantial business portfolio, opening a string of restaurants across Southeast Asia and one in Honolulu, and licensing his name across product lines including shoes, clothing, golf clubs, skincare products, and table tennis equipment. In 2016, the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences awards him an honorary Academy Award for Lifetime Achievement recognition that arrives notably late in a career that had already spanned more than 4 decades and profoundly shaped an entire genre of filmmaking worldwide. Through his own charitable foundation, he's also engaged extensively in humanitarian work and has publicly committed to donating half of his fortune to charity over the course of his lifetime. From an 8-year-old child actor in Hong Kong subjected to brutal boarding school discipline, to a construction worker in Australia who picked up his lifelong nickname almost by accident, to a stuntman working in the shadow of Bruce Lee, to the reluctant heir apparent who found stardom only once he stopped trying to copy his predecessor, to a global action comedy icon who's broken nearly every bone in his body in service of authentic, jaw-dropping stunt work. The story of Jackie Chan is, in the end, a story about finding your own voice rather than someone else's, and about turning both physical pain and personal complexity into one of the most enduring, beloved careers in the history of action cinema.